DNC. There is nothing saying that he cannot still run for president. He simply is not, he's not endorsed by the DNC. He can still be president, right? Nothing was taken away from anyone at all, ever. It's not even part of our democracy. That's not part of fucking democracy. The fuck? We just colloquially added it in, and now they're trying to use it because now they're scared as shit because a prosecutor up against a criminal is a bad idea.
What they was betting on was the fact that when she first run, she had very little support. Mind you, they don't seem to understand was that when she was running against Joe Biden, we were trying to elect somebody who we knew could beat Trump at that time. And at that time, the stronger person was Biden.
Yeah, and that's why I say, like, after Hillary and Democrats fucked up, they started playing a long game. And even when you look at, how did I get a warning? That's stupid. That's stupid.
Was it from Aldo when we kept repeating his catchphrase?
No, that was a long time ago. They wouldn't be from that. So I have a restriction. I think it's for 10 minutes. I'm about to appeal it. I'm about to appeal that shit.
I think it surprised them the amount of support that she got. Because they're literally being blindsided with all these Zoom calls and the amount of money that's being raised with each of these Zoom calls. Like, you definitely know that they were shocked at the amount of white women supporters and military supporters. I can tell you that. I don't think that they were surprised about the black people, but I will say I think they were surprised about white women and military.
You know, the shit that surprised the fuck out of me. The 190,000 white dudes that got on a YouTube call yesterday and raised $4 million. White dudes for Harris.
Oh, that's right. That wasn't the military. That was just because Good Trouble was on that one.
White dudes for Harris is crazy.
White dudes for Harris. I like that shit, man.
Yeah. And it goes to a point where, like, and I make this point all the time about race and racism. I think in these lives we get ingratiated with bigots, but I don't like going around and thinking that I do think all white people are racist, right? But I don't think all white people are allowed to harm me. That makes sense, right? And if I did think that, I would have an issue because, like, I wouldn't be able to leave the house, right? I like to think that there's goodness in the vast majority of people that they just lack education, and then that lack of education provides ignorance, and ignorance is a precursor to disenfranchisement. You don't know something, the default position just becomes bigoted. And I think that's where social conditioning is. But, like, Trump, the more closer we get to this election, Trump is going to start saying the quiet part out loud. And these people that sit here and have no arguments to why they justify his support are going to have to sit here and stand on that, on the things that he said. Because there's no way his only card to play is, in fact, white supremacy. Inward. Segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. That's the only card he has left to play. And that is going to be appealing to a lot of white people. But there's a much larger portion of the population that may not fully understand all of these things that I argue. Okay, Grandma, go ahead now. That I argue are going to push back. And if that doesn't happen, we got Keith. So I feel good either way, you know?
You know they only have one card to play, right? So when you see all that support, the one card they thought that they would be able to play is because there's a lot of brothers that fall to this shit, man. And I've never seen brothers fight against their own interests the way that, and they're not brothers, whatever the fuck you want to call these dudes. I don't want to say the word on here, but they are exactly what it is.
It's a fucking coons.
Yeah, we'll rock with that. Right, so that was the only card they had to play, right? They saw the support. They knew that there's no other way for them to get around this, but except because you know you're going to get black women. That's a done deal, right? You know you're going to get all the liberals. You know all the Democrats are not walking over to the Trump side under no circumstance because they see the harm. Now all you got left is if you could take these 13 million black dudes and you try to flip them against her. by telling her that she's trying to imprison you, and it's just not working. It will not
And
work.
it's not. And I don't think, and don't get me wrong, like when we look at these tap dancing ass coons on this app, them motherfuckers is ostracized. Them motherfuckers can't go nowhere without getting sweated. With these Smoteps, with these breatharians, like come on now, let's be honest. When they go into lives, they catch smoke. They catch smoke from black people. They catch smoke from indigenous people. They catch smoke. They catch smoke. Like
that's
it's not
the
like
only
they
way that
sitting there.
we
I know this app is huh?
No, I was gonna say, but that's the only way that we're gonna combat them is if we don't stop that. Like we have to stay on them to stop perpetrating the bullcrap lies that they're showing.
Mm-hmm. And I even look at like what their platforms are. Solid pointed this out about mine. Like it's been dry. TikTok been shadow banning me, but I hum at 120 people, and which is solid. They have a consistent following of 100 people that want to sit here and listen to me and the comrades shoot the shit and debate people here and there. That shit is a blessing. I am grateful for that. Right. When I look at people like LJ's live, Snacks don't be going live no more. Motherfuckers got off the app that hit me up like, hey, can we talk? Because I don't like the positions that I took and I want to walk some things back. Like, nah, bro, you laid in that shit. Can you get these people? Nah, bro, you laid in that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all did that, and I watched their platform. You just looking on numbers standpoint, they just go down. They get lower and lower and lower. You know, it's crazy.
So I got a question. How do y'all feel about the National Association of Black Journalists deciding to invite Trump Wednesday to speak?
It's a setup. It's a setup. It's a setup.
Me personally, like everybody that's like seen like the the Instagram, whatever, everybody, even other black journalists are like, yeah, this ain't it. Like, what? We don't need to hear from him anymore. So he could perpetrate his lies and his pandering to black people. Like he's been playing in our face these past couple of months, talking about the black community, paying people to be in a black church, going into quote unquote the hood, saying that Obama and Biden never went there, talking about black people relate to him because he a felon and got shoes. Like, I'm tired of him playing in our face. So I don't understand why they invited him first before they even decided to speak to Kamala, because we've heard from him for enough years and know he is not for the black community. So why are you inviting him?
So I'm telling you, man, this is a setup, right? You want to get him, and this could be the best thing we could possibly do, is get that motherfucker where he can't get away from none of that shit, where the same question gets asked over and over and over until he answers that shit. And I guarantee it's going to be some nasty ass journalist in there that's going to sit and stand on his fucking head until he answers questions the right way, instead of all this moving around and jumping back from all the shit he been jumping back from. He can't jump back while he's surrounded.
Think about
You're surrounded.
And I think about this though. Think about, we got TikTok right now, and it gives us the ability to access people we would never normally be able to access, right? And so like we have presidential nominees, presidential candidates, for example, that are on this app that we're mutuals with, that we can tap into when they do things. We go into their lives, we ask them questions. And it makes them very accessible, right? Here's the thing. Imagine if right now Donald Timothy Trump came into this panel and had a conversation with Super Solid and Keith. Just right here. Just here. A genuine conversation.
But does he have conversations or does he just ramble?
So the whole thing, I just say the whole time, I wouldn't even ask him no questions. I would just sing. I'd be, why the fuck you lying? Why you lying? The whole time.
Oh my God. Why the fuck you lying?
But I'm just saying, like,
Oh my God.
he never answers questions. He literally rambles. He goes, even with reporters that he likes. Even with white reporters that he likes, he rambles on about the most ignorant crap that has nothing to do with the question that they have. And yes, he's going to be in a room with black journalists and for the three moderators, I believe one of them is Harris, and she is a right-wing journalist. So he does have one that's on his side. But I just feel like he's not going to actually have conversation that's